The second movie by Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, is commonly regarded as one of the best movies of all time, and saw writer and director Quentin Tarantino thrust into the Hollywood spotlight where he has remained ever since. Pulp Fiction has seen massive success all over the world. However, that's not to say that all regions around the world received the same version of the movie. As regulars to the channel will know, media when released in different countries around the world can have a variety of changes due to things like censorship, localization, translation, and cultural differences. And this is something that can be found with most popular media, and this includes Pulp Fiction. And so in this video, we'll be taking a look at some of the ways that Pulp Fiction got changed in different countries around the world. To begin, we've taken a look at a version of the movie that was released in certain Spanish-speaking countries, where the movie was given a new Spanish name, this being Tiempos Violentos, which means violent times. A number of DVD releases were produced for certain Spanish-speaking countries using this name. Interestingly, this name is also still used today in some places, such as Google Play and the iTunes Store. But yes, for the Spanish version, there were also some interesting changes made to the actual movie itself in regards to the Spanish dubbing. Now, people familiar with the movie may recall how certain sections of the movie involve characters speaking in Spanish. This is something that's always interesting to see in the world of translation and localization, and how scenes involving characters speaking the language that they're supposed to be translated to is handled. And for example, in Pulp Fiction, there's a scene involving Butch and his girlfriend, where Butch is speaking to her in Spanish.
¿Qué hora es?
¿Qué hora es?
What time is it?
What time is it?
Time for bread.
And in response to a question, this causes her to say, "But I do not speak Spanish."
But I do not speak Spanish.
And so, for the dubbed Spanish version, this whole scene was changed so that instead, Butch is talking Portuguese. And then her dialogue was changed so that she says, "I do not speak Portuguese."
Pero no hablo portugués.
And to keep with that theme, then there's the famous line,
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes!
said by Samuel L. Jackson playing the character Jules. Now, as you can imagine, for the various dubbing translations around the world, this line was altered so that it wouldn't clash with what the language was being translated to. And so, in the German, French, Spanish, and Italian dubs, English was changed to either my language or our language. And so, for instance, Jules would say, "My language, motherfucker, do you speak it?"
Mi idioma, cabronazo! ¿Sabes hablarlo?
Sì.
La langue, bourre de fiotte! Est-ce que tu comprends ce que je dis?
Oui.
La mia lingua, figlio di puttana! Tu la sai parlare?
Unsere Sprache, du Wichser, sprichst du sie nicht? Doch.
But now to move away from the translation and onto some of the movie's censorship. Now, over in the US, it's quite common for channels on basic cable to censor movies when they're broadcasted. This is not, however, due to the FCC, who do not regulate cable media, including basic cable. Instead, this is due to cable networks self-regulating, either due to what they perceive to be viewer expectations or because of pressure from advertisers. And so throughout the years, this has left us with so many hilariously bad TV edits of popular movies.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
They sound like a great big pussy, just waiting to get fucked. These sound like a great big chicken, just waiting to be plucked.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
And the same has happened to Pulp Fiction as well.
You're a smart motherfucker, that's right. You're a smart little sucker, that's right.
Go home, jerk off, and that's all you gonna do. Go home, cool off, and that's all you gonna do.
My eyes are wide fucking open. My eyes are wide focused open.
One of the channels notorious for their heavy editing to Pulp Fiction is AMC. In some of these censored TV versions, like the one produced for AMC, a huge change is made when Vincent accidentally shoots Marvin. In the censored version, right after Vincent shoots Marvin, the screen fades to black, and then somebody impersonating John Travolta is dubbed over saying, "Oh man, I just shot Marvin in the face."
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped? Oh man, I just shot Marvin in the face.
The scene then proceeds to jump forward way ahead to the coffee scene at Jimmy's house, featuring the bloodied Vincent and Jules. This means that all events in the car following the shooting, as well as all scenes at Jimmy's house prior to the coffee scene, got completely removed. Another moment censored by AMC and some other censored TV versions is Butch's profane outbursts in the hotel room. In this scene, Butch discovers that his girlfriend forgot to bring his precious watch with her, due to how special the watch is to him. This causes him to explode in an angry outburst where he lets out lots of swear words and smashes the TV.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck, motherfucker! Motherfucker!
However, in the censored version, Butch's audio just suddenly cuts out and you can't hear anything during the outburst. But yes, there have been all kinds of censored versions produced for TV in not just the US but other regions around the world as well, with these doing things like removing scenes of violence, drug use and swear words. But for the curious, here's how AMC handled the previously discussed "English motherfucker, do you speak it?" line.
English, little sucker, do you speak it? Yes.
The biggest region around the world, however, that's been affected by censorship is the UK. Now, back when Pulp Fiction was originally released, this was a time in the UK where the BBFC, the British Board of Film Classification, were much more strict than they are today, with them also having a variety of rules that nowadays would seem really strange. For instance, for many years, there was actually a ban on certain Asian weaponry being shown in British media, due to the rise of weapons like nunchaku and throwing stars being used by UK gangs. This saw a ban imposed on them by the BBFC, and this means that for many years in the UK, media such as Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, but then also much more child-friendly media such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, had to remove any instances of nunchaku scenes. And this also saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being renamed in the UK and consequently some other European regions to Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. And this also means that Michelangelo, who uses nunchaku as his trademark weapon, was never allowed to be depicted using his trademark weapon for the British versions. The ban on certain Asian weapons affected many different pieces of media in the UK, and this lasted all the way up to the year 1999. Now, Pulp Fiction wouldn't be the first time that director Quentin Tarantino ran into issues with the UK censors. For his previous and first movie, Reservoir Dogs, the movie was refused a classification by the BBFC in 1993 for the home video release. Whilst the movie was approved for a cinema release, for the home release special considerations were made over what effect it could have on viewers in a home setting. And so the movie wouldn't be granted a UK home release all the way up until 1995, but when it did finally release, it was granted an 18 rating with no censorship. Now, for Pulp Fiction, it was comparably also found fine for a UK cinema release. However, issues arose over it being released on home video. Pulp Fiction's history of censorship issues in the country is something that's discussed on the BBFC website. The BBFC website explains that the most problematic aspect of the film wasn't the violence, but was instead John Travolta's character Vincent and his drug usage. At one point in the movie, you can see him giving himself an injection. However, for the UK version, this was reframed so that you can't see the needle penetrating his skin. The BBFC website explains that the BBFC's director, James Furman, was, to quote, concerned that this kind of detailed and ritualistic portrayal of the mechanics of drug use had the potential to glamorize such behavior for those predisposed towards addictive behaviors. And this decision means that all home video and DVD releases of Pulp Fiction in the UK were censored for more than 15 years, all the way up until 2011, when the BBFC finally approved the movie to be released fully uncut and with an 18 rating. But for director Quentin Tarantino, this would be far from the last time for him to face censorship issues with his movies. For his next movie, From Dusk Till Dawn, where he features as an actor and as one of the main characters, as well as being the movie's writer, the movie was completely banned in Ireland for what was called irresponsible and totally gratuitous violence. This ban then lasted all the way until 2004, when the movie was finally allowed to be released with an 18 rating and uncensored. From Dusk Till Dawn also ran into big issues in Germany, where it was placed on the country's list of media harmful to young people. This meant that the movie was released in a heavily censored version in Germany all the way up until only very recently in 2017. What are your thoughts on Pulp Fiction's changes and censorship around the world? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, thank you for watching.